Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. And if you watched our previous Realm update video earlier this week, then you already know something very important already changed inside Guild Versus. Realm tasks arrived. And Guardians. This is not a small adjustment. This changes how players spend resources, how players prepare events, how guilds organize progress, and more importantly, how easy it now is to completely waste resources if you don't understand what you are doing. Because after playing through most of the first full week of the updated Guild Versus system, one thing became very clear very quickly. Some tasks are fantastic. Some tasks are traps. And some mechanics feel either unfinished, or simply badly explained by the developers. So today, Guardians, we are going to save you resources, save you frustration, and hopefully save you from making some very expensive mistakes. These are our updated top 5 tips for the Realm version of Guild Versus. And trust me, some of these tips are extremely important. So without further ado, Guardians, let's jump straight into it. The very first tip is probably the most important one of the entire video. Prioritize your benchmarks first. Yes, Guardians. It sounds selfish. But after months of Guild Versus, we all understand how this event really works. Guild Versus is designed to accelerate resource consumption. That is the entire system. The developers want players spending resources faster than they normally would because the faster players run out, the higher the possibility they spend money replacing them. And once you understand that, everything becomes much easier to manage mentally. Because the truth is, Guild Versus rewards are simply not strong enough to justify reckless spending. Especially now with Realm tasks added on top. And Guardians, at guild level the situation becomes even more dangerous because Guild Versus can feel incredibly unpredictable. Especially for European guilds. Many guilds go to sleep several million points ahead. Then wake up having lost the day completely with no possibility to react. And that feels terrible after heavy investment. So our advice is simple. Hit your personal daily benchmarks. Secure your own progression. Play smart. Play efficiently. But do not destroy your account resources trying to chase impossible guild swings every single day. Because, sometimes, the smartest play is restraint. Now, Guardians, let's move into the second tip. Hero Power Day is still one of the easiest days to max. But now it is much harder than before. Previously players only needed around 45,000 hero power. Now, around 150,000. That is more than triple. And yes, Guardians, you absolutely feel the difference immediately, but luckily, there is still a very efficient strategy around it. Save your Realm hero power research specifically for this day. That changes everything. Because instead of randomly spending research whenever available, you create a concentrated hero power spike exactly during Guild Versus. And if you manage your research correctly throughout the month, you should still be able to max Hero Power Day relatively consistently without destroying your resources. So patience becomes extremely important now. And speaking of patience, Guardians, that leads directly into our third tip. Do not waste Rune Spheres randomly. This one is huge. Seriously huge. Use your Rune Spheres and Rune Stones during the overlap between Runic Power Day and Runic Millstone event. Because Guardians, That overlap is where the real value exists. The guild versus points alone are not worth aggressively spending Rune Spheres outside proper event timing. Not even close. But when you combine guild versus progression, runic millstone rewards, alliance of forces cashback, and Rune Sphere value simultaneously, suddenly the efficiency becomes dramatically higher. That overlap happens roughly once per month. And it is absolutely worth waiting for. So be patient. Do not let guild versus pressure you into panic spending. Because efficient timing is everything now in realm progression. And Guardians. This next tip caused massive confusion during the first week of testing. Be very careful on research day. Because right now, not all completed research appears to count correctly. And yes, this already cost many players a huge amount of resources. Here is the problem. At the moment, the research task only seems to count if you both start the research and finish the research during the same guild versus day. And Guardians. That changes everything. Because many players prepared intelligently beforehand. They started long research projects days earlier expecting to finish them on research day. Only to discover the task did not count at all. And that is brutal. Especially considering how expensive realm research can become later on. Now hopefully, this is simply a bug. The developers already received questions about it. But right now, do not risk it. If you want guaranteed task completion, start the research on the same day you intend to complete it. Until the developers officially clarify or fix the system. Play safe. Because losing realm resources for nothing feels horrible. Now Guardians. Let's move into what may actually be the best practical trick in the entire update. Army recruitment today. And this day changed massively. Previously hero power dominated the later guild versus stages. But now, realm army recruitment completely took over. And Guardians. Many players immediately started panicking because training tier 9 troops normally is extremely expensive and time consuming. But thankfully, there is a much smarter strategy. Promote troops instead. Yes. This is the trick. Instead of training fresh tier 9 units, train large numbers of tier 8 troops during the week. Then promote them on army recruitment day. Because promoting troops counts toward task progression. And the efficiency difference is massive. You can promote more than 3 times the amount of troops compared to directly training fresh tier 9 units. Which means, less speedups, less stress, less wasted resources, and dramatically easier daily completion. So Guardians. Upgrade all troop camps to level 25. Train tier 8 units passively during the week. Then unload promotions during army recruitment day. And suddenly, one of the hardest new tasks becomes surprisingly manageable. Honestly, this strategy alone probably saves players enormous amounts of resources moving forward. And Guardians. That is really the key lesson of this entire realm update. Efficiency matters more than ever now. Because the new guild versus system constantly tries pulling resources out of your account faster and faster. And if you play emotionally, or impulsively, or without planning, you will feel resource starvation very quickly. But if you plan overlaps, save progression, understand event timing, and use smarter strategies, the system becomes much more manageable. Now overall, our opinion on the realm expansion is still mixed. Some changes are genuinely good. The added complexity makes progression more interesting. Some realm integration feels fresh. And certain tasks reward smart preparation properly. But at the same time, there are still too many badly explained mechanics. Too many strange task interactions. And some requirements simply feel overtuned compared to the rewards they provide. So hopefully, the developers continue adjusting things during the next weeks. Because the potential is there. The structure itself is actually interesting. It just needs refinement. And guardians. That is why these first weeks are so important. Because right now, the community is discovering the best strategies together. People are learning where resources are wasted, where efficiency exists, and which tasks are worth prioritizing. So never underestimate the value of smart preparation. Because in realm progression, strategy matters more than brute force. So Guardians, these are our updated top 5 tips for the new realm version of Guild Versus. But now we want to hear from you. Have you discovered any other efficient tricks already? Any hidden mechanics? Any mistakes players should avoid? Drop them below because sharing information right now is incredibly important for the community. Stay tuned, stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.